Joining us right now, the president of American Bank of Commerce. You can log on to their website at theabcbank.com, the all-revamped website at theabcbank.com. It's James Arnold. James, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Chad. How are you today?
Doing well. How are things with you?
Just hot and heavy in the summer.
It looks as though things are looking pretty swell for the Lubbock and West Texas economy.
You know, we're doing really well. It's a solid year so far. We peaked, our economy in the West Texas area in Lubbock peaked in January and December of this year and last year, December of 2016, and we're still right up there. We haven't peaked again, but we're right up there at the index, and you just look around town and you see lots of construction going on and a lot of people, really hitting the mall and doing retail sales.
I guess there was a little bit of an economic drop maybe in the last couple of months, but we've seen it rebound. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, a drop would be that's a strong. I would say we just kind of saw leveling off. I mean, I think it was going to be hard to sustain the level of economic activity we saw going into the fourth quarter last year and coming out of the first quarter of this year. So I think it's just solid, and we might have dropped a basis point here or there, but the Lubbock economy is as good as it's ever been right now.
Let me ask you this. When we look at, and this is something that when I got into Lubbock in 2001, I remember businesses around Texas Tech would shut down for parts of the summer. Obviously they're not doing that anymore because you've got students who are staying here for summer school, and the population has increased dramatically since 2001. What kind of changes have you seen in, maybe the last 10, 12 years when it comes to students who are leaving for summer school and how that impacts the economy maybe 10 years ago compared to today?
Well, you're right. It was a much more dramatic decrease in terms of number of students. I think you're seeing students come to school earlier in terms of entering. Freshmen may enter in the summer, and you're seeing more current students stay and sign 12-month leases and stay through summer school, whether they work and go to school or just work or just go to school. And the population density at Texas Tech is dramatically changed in the last 10 years with what McDougal's done between University and Avenue Q. We all know about it. At one time, it was the largest urban redevelopment project in the country, and it's about in its ninth inning in terms of redevelopment over there. There's a few tracts of land still available, but by and large, it's fully developed. That density of population of students is allowing those businesses in and around the Texas Tech campus to stay open. Now, do they see a drop-off? Yes, it's a significant drop-off, but they're still seeing profitable businesses come in and stay open throughout the calendar year for 12 months. So that's a big change. I think the growth south and west in terms of just the city overall has been amazing over the last 10 years. People said that when Lubbock hit 200,000, we would show up on site selection maps for retail and restaurants and other things. And we hit that number, and literally once we hit 200,000 about 9 years ago, Lubbock economy really started to popping with different retail showing up, and we continue to pierce those veils in terms of 200,000. Now we're over 300 in the county, and so our MSA continues to draw retail and businesses and white-collar jobs to town, and again, that those things kind of feed off of itself, and we've seen a great run for the last 10 years here in this economy.
I know we've talked about this before when one of the news stations came out with an article about are there too many restaurants in Lubbock, Texas? Is it, are we able to sustain this? I think another news channel just a few weeks ago came out with a similar story because of some recent restaurants that have closed. Just, there are some businesses that just don't make it. Is that, when you're looking at the economy overall, is it a sign that maybe some businesses just aren't making it, that, whatever it may be, the competition is just too strong, or are we so saturated with restaurants that there's too much to go around and not enough, as much as Lubbock loves to go out and eat, there are just too many restaurants?
Well, I think, it's kind of a survival of the fittest in terms of restaurants. I think you'll see restaurants are very cyclical. So a new restaurant opens, and a good one will have a 90-day run where it's the favorite place in town. They're packed at lunch, packed at dinner, and, anybody can open up and have, Lubbock is an eating-out town, and people hear about them. But after that 90-day run of being the new guy in town, how sustainable is it? Can it go from breaking records the first 90 days to being profitable for the next 9 years? And so restaurants struggle with that conversion from the first 90 into the next 9. And so you'll see restaurants close. You'll see smaller ones that are not accessible. They're maybe not the beaten path. There's not a reason to return, struggle to stay open. We'll see some of that cycle itself out, but the good ones stay. National chains usually stay because they know the model. They figured it out. They've done their homework on the front end. So you don't see as many national chains closing as a lot of mom and pops that just had a good idea and it's not sustainable. Restaurants are very cyclical, but if you look at overall food and beverage alcohol sales tax, and it directly ties into the overall restaurant, the consistent top 10 are the consistent top 10 in this market, and we're seeing growth in that tax revenue. So that tells me Lubbock Economy is growing. We don't have too many restaurants. Our restaurant growth is keeping pace with our population growth. But you will see some restaurants cycle out of here and close just because there's somebody else better down the street.
Yeah. James, can you hold on during the break, and we can come back and talk a little bit more about maybe the housing market and then the city of Lubbock planning for 2040. Maybe we can get into that a little bit and how that looks like on the economic level.
That'd be great.
All right. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with James Arnold, president of ABC Bank. Their website, theabcbank.com. We'll be right back. Chad Hasty Show News Talk, 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. We are continuing our conversation with President of American Bank of Commerce, James Arnold, theabcbank.com, the website you can go and visit, find out more information about our good friends at ABC Bank. James, let's take a look at the housing market. That's something I know all the economists and bankers take a look at, and realtors and everyone else, just see how healthy the economy is. How does our housing market look?
Housing and retail sales, as we've said before, make up 75% of the local economy. So that's why banks and economists look at that so closely. And if you look at Lubbock, man, it's I don't know another year that's been this strong. Permits are up about 50%. Through the year, and you see a large issue of permits the first quarter, so those houses can come online in the summer months when people begin to move, and that's July and August or June and July are the two biggest months for people to move, so that's why you see a big surge. And then you look at home sales. We're up about 3% in terms of volume, and then you look at pricing, because what you want to see is volumes are up and pricing up. You don't want to see volumes up and prices down. That just means people are cutting price to move product. So volume's up about 3% and pricing's up about 2.5%. So that's through the year. Dollar volumes are up about 4%. So across the board, very solid. We're at about 4 months supply of inventory in Lubbock. 6 is kind of in balance. So it's still a seller's market out there. Some hot areas inside the loop. Menlo Park is a very hot area right now because of schools. And then you go south, and everybody's trying to get in the Cooper School District, so that's a hot area south. And so anything above $500,000 in terms of home pricing sits on the market a little longer. But if you're trying to sell a house and you're under $300,000, most people are getting contracts within 2 weeks. So
wow.
It's a very hot market. Long-term rates have stayed steady in terms of mortgage. 10-year Treasury has stayed steady, so mortgage rates are still very competitive.
Very good. I know at ABC Bank you have a big ag lending department. You do a lot with the ag community. How's everything looking with that part of our economy?
We're in this cycle right now. We just need good, solid rains and no hailstorms. And so
yeah.
It's funny. I talked to some producers that have had fantastic rains north and east of Lubbock and south and west, or south and east, I'm sorry. But you go down Wolfworth area, and it's just there's some pockets that still hadn't gotten any rain, and so they just need some moisture to let those seeds germinate and grow, and they just hadn't got it. So it's been real spotty, and so it's right now it's a haves and have-nots in the ag market. We need some rain in the next probably 7 days for some of these guys to even get a crop up this year. So it's a little dicey right now. This hot weather's got everybody nervous this early. So, who knows? Last year going into July and August, we thought it's going to be a bad year. We had good rains in August and a hot, dry September and October. So it was a great crop year. So you just never know. It's early, but it could be better. We need some rain soon, basically. We do. And not the severe stuff. We just need some rain. Good soaking rain is what we need. Slow and steady. That's right. Let's see. As you know, City of Lubbock, they're putting together this plan for the future for 2040. If they were to come to you and say, and I know there's a survey out there right now, and it asks about the economy and it asks about jobs going into the future in Lubbock. What kind of jobs, what kind of economic advice would you give to city leaders heading this plan going towards 2040? Any true sustainable economic growth and expansion has to come from the private sector. We've seen we thought about 10 years looking backwards, we've seen for the last 15 years the city and LEDA try to generate growth and economic activity, and they're additive to that. But it's got to generate from the private sector. We've got an availability of a workforce in terms of Texas Tech and LCU, graduating, qualified, and ready to work people. And so the workforce is not an issue. We're a low-cost place to do business. We're in Texas, so we don't have state income tax. We've got all the metrics that you would want looking at 2040. What we need to go out and sell our city to private industry as it's got great education for public schools. We've got great infrastructure. We continue to invest in infrastructure, and we're a ready-to-go-to-work place. And Monsanto's a great example of that north of the airport. And I think we'll continue to see businesses that may have gone to Dallas or Houston or Austin or San Antonio. They can come to Lubbock, Texas, still take advantage of the state income tax in Texas not existing, and have a ready-to-go workforce with a much lower cost of doing business. So I think we're really set up for a great 20-year run in this economy and this market. Very good. James, tell folks a little bit about ABC Bank and some of the things y'all have going. And, of course, you get the brand-new website up and running. Looks great. Thank you. We've got a brand-new website, brand-new mobile app that allows some really cutting-edge technology in terms of budgeting and pulling in other data points to help you manage your money a little better. It's a free service we provide. We're launching a mortgage company later this year, and so we'll be able to provide long-term mortgage solutions for folks in all of our markets. And we're continuing to supply capital and economic advice to small businesses all over the West Texas area. So we're big in ag, we're big in small business. We help local developers expand, and so we're here to meet everyone's financial needs that would like some free advice. Very good. James Arnold, president of American Bank of Commerce, theabcbank.com. As always, we appreciate your time, and we'll visit with you soon. And let's all pray for a little bit of rain for our ag producers. That's right. Pray for rain. Thank you, Chad. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Sounds great. Thanks, James. That's James Arnold, president, ABC Bank, theabcbank.com.